Hello class, this is Mr. Eggleston and this is the video for lesson 2.5, graphing lines for algebra 1. The learning targets is to identify the y-intercept and slope from a linear equation. The linear equation we're talking about at this stage is going to be y equals mx plus b, or I guess you could also write it like, and this is actually the way I prefer it, b plus mx. I like this one because you have your start value plus the change. This is the change. So I like this one better, but this is traditionally the form of the equation that is used. All right, so we're going to learn to identify the y-intercept and slope from a linear equation. Okay. We're going to learn to graph lines given a point and a slope. And then we're going to learn to write the equation of a line shown on a graph. All right, those are the learning targets. Write those down. So here's the setup. How much snow is on the ground? A big snowstorm is passing through Baltimore. The height of snow on Jasper's driveway can be modeled by an equation, this equation here. Okay, and I'm going to erase it now that I highlight it because I want you to be able to see it. It's y equals 5 plus 2/3 x. So this is written in this form up here. Okay, now how many where y is the height in inches, you got to know your units and what each variable means. They're defining it for you. And x is the hours after midnight. Okay, so how many inches of snow are on the ground at midnight? Well, at midnight, since x is the hours after midnight, this is the value when x equals 0. That's midnight, so we plug that into our equation. And 2/3 times 0 is 0, and you end up with 5. 5 what? Is 5 inches. So at midnight, there are 5 inches of snow on the ground. How many inches of snow are there on the driveway at 3 a.m.? Remember, x equals 0 is midnight. So at 3 a.m., that's 3 hours after midnight. So that's x equals 3. And this becomes y equals 5 plus 2/3 times 3. All right, there's lots of ways to do this. Put a little 1 underneath the 3. Multiply 2 times 3, 3 times 1. You get 5 plus 6 over 3. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2, so it's 5 plus 2. And you end up with 7 inches. You could also have just said, hey, wait, I know that the 3's divide out, and then it's just 5 plus 2. That's another way of doing it, more than one way to, as they say, to skin a cat, which is a horrible thought, but anyway. Okay, then it says graph the relationship between the height of snow and the time on the xy plane. Well, our equation is this. I'm just going to write it. Y equals 5 plus 2/3 x. All right, and we already know two things. We know that x equals 0. I'm going to write as an ordered pair. The height is 5. We also know that when x equals 3, the height is 7. So we have 2 points, 0, 5, 0, 5, and 3, 7. And we only need 2 points to define a line. 2 points defines a unique line. So here's our graph. Okay, I'm going to erase that now that I did that because I wanted to point something out. All right, we can put more dots down by following that same pattern. Notice, to go from the y-intercept at x equals 0 to the next point over, we go up 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3. Then that means if we wanted to get another point, we go up 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3, and now put a point there. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it goes off the grid. Okay? So I just wanted to put more dots down. You notice that does form a line. And there you go. That is a graph of the line that represents the height of snow on the XY plane, where this is time after midnight. And this is height. Okay. Now they ask you, what is the slope of this line? Well, the slope, remember, slope is m. M equals rise over run. So all you got to do to find the slope is choose a point that's on the line, like right here, and a second point that's on the line right there, and figure out that we have to go up 1, 2, and to the right 1, 2, 3. So the slope is up 2 over to the right 3. Okay. What does this have to do with the snow on Jasper's driveway? Well, what this means is that the snow height increases 2 inches every 3 hours. Okay? That's what the slope means. Okay, remember, slope is rise over run. Rise is the h, which is in units of inches. So I can write the inches, the units for this. This is inches. And the x is time in hours. So it's inches per hour. Okay. And that is a rate. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Now, where does the line cross the y-axis, and what information does this tell you about the snow on Jasper's driveway? Well, it crosses the y-axis at this location here. This is the y-axis right here. So it crosses at 5. So where does this line cross the y-axis? At 5, and it's 5 inches is the units. And what does this tell you about the snow on Jasper's driveway? At midnight, because that's when x equals 0, there is 5 inches of snow on the ground. Okay. Now the next question is, how many inches of snow are there on the ground at 4 a.m.? Well, we could look at it graphically, right? We do this. That's x equals 4. And so that tells you that at 4 a.m., it's going to be a little bit less than 8 inches. It'll be 7 point something, probably 7.7, 7.8, something like that inches. All right, that's how you can, so from graph, the height, y, is approximately 7.8 inches. Okay. But we could get the exact height because we know this. We know y equals 5 plus 2/3 x. And here, x again is going to be 4. So we could evaluate that. Well, this is a little bit of a pain. I mean, most students don't like fractions and working with them. But remember, you can turn the 4 into a fraction by putting a 1 underneath, and then that tells you that you have to, you get 5, and then you multiply the tops together. 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 1 is 3, so it's 5 plus 8/3. Now, I would sit there and look at this and say, well, to add fractions, you have to have the same denominator, and there's a 5 over 1. So I have to rewrite 5 over 1, so that'll be over 3. So would you agree that 15 over 3 is the same thing as 5? Notice now the bottoms are the same, and you end up with 23/3. So there's 23/3 inches. Now, that doesn't really give you a good grasp normally of the height. So let's write it as a mixed number. So 3 goes into 23 7 times, because that's 3 times 7 is 21 with a remainder of 2. So it's 7 2/3 inches. Okay. Now notice, this is the more precise answer. This was an estimate. And from the estimate, we got about 7.8, and it's actually 7.7. So I was a little bit off, but, by doing this by hand, that's a pretty good graph, or a pretty good idea. All right. So, let's see, how many inches of snow are there on the ground? That's 6, 7. If there are 12 inches or more of snow on the ground at 6 a.m., school will get canceled. Should Jasper turn off his alarm? Well, 6 a.m. is simply right here. Okay. And by looking at this, you see that it's 9 inches. So since 9 inches is less than 12, school will still be in session. So no, Jasper will have to go to school. Since y equals 9 inches at 6 a.m., which is less than the 12 inches they need to have school canceled. So at what time will there be exactly 8 inches? Well, to do this, you can find 8 on the, you can find 8 on the y-axis, which is right there. Attached it to the wrong thing. 8 is right here, and just go all the way out until you run into the line, which is right there. And then you just, from the graph, you can just drop it straight down. Okay, well, that looks a little bit off. Okay, that's a little bit better. So looking at this, you see it's going to be between 4 and 5, 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. Okay. But we could get the exact, so from the graph, y is approximately, again, or not y, x is approximately about 4.5, 430 or so. So it's not y, it's x actually, because y equals 8. From graph, x is about 4.5 or 4:30 in the morning. Now we're going to also get the exact value because we have the equation. So we could take our equation up here that we were given. Where is it? It's all the way up here at the top. The y equals 5 plus 2/3 x. So what we're going to do is say if y equals 5 plus 2/3 x, we're just going to set that equal to 8 because that's what they want to know. And we're going to solve this linear equation. How do we do it? Well, we have to isolate the x. All right, so we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. And you will get 2/3 x equals 3. Now, there's lots of ways you can go from here. You can realize that we have to divide by 2/3 both sides and get x equals 3 divided by 2/3. But when you divide by a fraction, you can turn that into multiplication by multiplying by the reciprocal. So it's the same thing as 3 times 3/2. And that equals 9/2. So x is 9/2. And 9/2 is 4.5. So again, we get the same answer solving it algebraically as we estimate by looking at the graph. It's at 4:30 in the morning. All right, so now here we go. Go ahead and copy down the quick notes. Pause the video and copy it down. All right, the quick notes. We had 3 learning targets. Learning target number 1 was lines in slope-intercept form. This is the name. This is the go-to equation, the one that is often taught first. There's more than one equation, by the way, form of the linear equation, but this is the first one you're going to deal with. So y equals mx plus b. It could also be written as y equals b plus mx. Either way, it's fine. Number 2, notice you can always switch the order of addition. 1 plus 2 is 3, and so is 2 plus 1. So mx plus b equals b plus mx. So anyway, it could be either or. Now, learning target number 2, to graph a line, plot a given point, then use the slope to graph another point and connect the points with a line. All right? So basically, and that's what the B is. That's what this B is. That's your starting point, because we call that the y-intercept. So if it's written like this, you got the y-intercept, that's your starting point, and then you use the slope to find another point, and then you could connect the dots. All right? Slope is rise over run. Make sure you know that. In words, m equals rise over run. Okay? So, and then to write an equation of a linear graph, calculate slope and find y-intercept, then y equals mx plus b. And that's the learning target number 3. So here it goes. Imani buys dog food in a 12-pound bag amounting to 38 cups of food. Each day she feeds her dog 1.5 cups of dog food each day. Graph the relationship between the number of cups of dog food remaining in the bag and the days since opening a new bag of dog food. Well, let's see. It said it had 38 cups. So let's look at this. This is 35. Okay, right here. And then 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So 38 would be right there. All right, so it's right about there. And then it says for every day, you drop 1.5. Now, that's a little bit of a pain, because if you look at this and you go over 1, you'd have to go down 1 and then a little bit halfway between the next. It's a bit painful to do that. So what I would argue is try to figure out where you can a way of turning 1.5 into a ratio of 2 integers, so you can just like go down or up so much and then over to the right so much. So in other words, take 1.5 and rewrite that as a improper fraction, which would be 3/2. How did I get that? Remember, to go from mixed numbers, we take the denominator of the fraction part, multiply against the whole number up in front, so 2 times 1 is 2, and then add the numerator of the fraction next to it. So it's 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and that's where the 3/2 comes from. So we could have turned, so instead of going down 1.5 every day, this says you go down 3 every 2 days, and that's a lot easier to calculate. So let's go. So again, I'm going to do it in orange. So there, we start there, we go down. Now remember, I'm saying this without even really talking about, why am I going down? Why do I go down instead of up? Because if the dog's eating 1.5 cups of dog food or 3/2 cups of dog food a day, you're losing that much each day. So that means we're going down. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3. That's going down 3 and to the right, 1, 2, and that puts a dot right there. Oh. So again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, come on. Why is that not? There it goes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now I can keep going. I go down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. I'm just putting down as many dots so I can have a more accurate line. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2. And that's more or less all I can do, right? Because I could go down 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2, and put another dot there. And then we can connect the dots with a line. Okay. Now, notice I went on the other side of the x-axis, which means we're down here in the negatives. That's just how our counting worked. It doesn't make sense to have a negative amount of dog food. Okay, so I'm going to erase that. I was just trying to get a more accurate graph. Okay, and so there's a graph, all right, of the remaining dog food versus the number of days. What is the y-intercept of this line? Well, the y-intercept is when x is 0. So what is the y-intercept of this line? That's when x equals 0. And according to this graph, it is 38. 38 cups. Okay. What does this mean in the context of this problem? A bag starts with 38 cups in it. A bag of dog food. A bag of dog food starts with 38 cups of food. Or not cups. 38 cups of food. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. What is the slope of this line? What does this mean in the context of the problem? Well, the slope of the line, it's negative, right? Because it's going down, right? Because why is it negative? Is because the dog is consuming, taking away 3/2 cups or 1.5 cups of dog food a day. So what is the slope of this line? M equals negative 1.5, and that's cups per day. The dog eats, I shouldn't say that. The bag loses, I don't know if that's how you spell loses 1.5 cups a day of dog food. Notice the line is going down to the right. It's going downwards. That's a negative slope. The amount is decreasing. So it's a negative slope. What is the x-intercept of this line? What does this mean in the context of this problem? Well, looking at this graph, it looks like it's about a little less than 26 days. All right? So you can say, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me, sorry. What is the x-intercept? Well, that's going to disappear. Okay. From the graph, about 5 days. That's an estimate. We can get the exact value because we have the equation. Or do we have the equation? Excuse me. Well, we can write the equation because we can write y equals mx plus b. We know m is negative 3/2 x, and we know b was 38 cups. Okay, and we can just set that equal to 0 because that's when it hits the x-axis. Remember, when you hit the x-axis, the amount of dog food in the bag is 0. So we can solve this, subtract 38. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt. And then you could multiply by 2, divide by 3, or realize that we're going to divide by negative 3/2, which means we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of negative 3/2 is 2 over negative 3, and we're going to multiply it. All right? Both sides. So I hope you're okay with it. What is going on? There we go. So we are going to multiply it there, and dividing by negative 3/2 is multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so we have this. And I'm going to go ahead and make this white. Sorry. All right, so here, that all divides out. It leaves you with x. On the right, you have negative 38 over 1 times 2 over negative 3. So multiply tops together, that's negative 76, I believe, 38 times 2 is. And 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So we have negative 76 divided by negative 3. Well, negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's 76 over 3, 76 thirds. And numerically, that is 25. Yeah, 3 goes into 76 25 times, because that's 75. And then there's a remainder of 1. So it's 25 and a third days. All right. By the 26th day, the bag of dog food will be empty, is what this means. All right, so that's how you do this. Not too shabby. Okay. Es bueno. Why am I missing something? I seem to be missing the last question, which was, given the graph, can you write the equation? You know what? I think since it's not on here, we're not going to stress about. So there you go. Hope you have a good evening. I hope that was useful. You have a good day.